I know that you really think that everybody should celebrate it, but you do know that they don't have to, right? I mean, come on, left wing. Hunter Biden is everything you claim to hate. Heart is at risk of total beauty failure. Hi, my name is Nick, and this is Brief by Beaten. If you have not already subscribed to this channel, please do so. I would really appreciate it. Now, let's get to the headlines that caught my eye this week. An Ontario town was fined $10,000 for not celebrating Pride Month. I gotta be honest, this whole accept us or we'll sue you does not seem like a winning strategy. I know that you really think that everybody should celebrate it, but you do know that they don't have to, right? I support the LGBT community. I want them to have all the rights that everybody else has. Here's the thing though, they do. Gay marriage is legal. You can't be denied a job, housing, or a mortgage because you're gay. Those are rights. You've got them. Everyone taking a month to celebrate you is not a right. They've even made people bake you wedding cakes even if they don't want to. You could get people who do want to bake you wedding cakes to bake them for you, but you don't want that. You want the guy who doesn't want to do it for you because you want to with them. When are people going to realize that you can't legislate tolerance? There's no law that you can put on the books that makes people open-minded. I'm really not sure why people think that if we just make the bigots pay fines, then they'll accept us. In fact, it has the opposite effect. There's been studies conducted and support for the LGBT community is going down. And despite what people online are saying, it's not because people have gotten more hateful. It's because you're annoying. You're annoying people. You issue purity test after purity test and you keep changing the rules. So even people who are on your side think that they're on the up and then they cross a line they didn't realize was there because you just put it there because you want people to fail. If everyone accepts you, you lose your entire personality. So just as people are starting to accept changes, you add a new hoop for them to jump through. And you keep adding those hoops until eventually people are tired of jumping. And then you get to go, see, homophobes. A crypto guy bought a banana that was duct taped to a wall and called art for $6.6 million. And then he ate it. Or, as Fox News reported it, in Biden's America, bananas cost $6.6 million. A woman is taking a doctor to the Human Rights Tribunal because that doctor sent her to a special facility to give birth due to her obesity. So think about the position that this doctor is in. If he doesn't send her to that facility to give birth, he could face legal action because he endangered a person's life by not taking all necessary precautions. But if he does send her to the facility, he could be taken to the Human Rights Tribunal because he made her sad. And for anyone who thinks that the Human Rights Tribunal is a legitimate court, it's not. It's the court of, you hurt my feelings. You know what? I actually think it's time that society just runs this experiment. The fat acceptance people never want to admit that their weight is part of the issue. So if we are going to go with the beautiful at any size model, even in the medical field, fine. Let's do it. Here's how that should go. I'm sorry to inform you, you are diagnosed with being too beautiful. Your heart is at risk of total beauty failure. Good news and bad news. Good news, we can totally fix it. Bad news, you will have to shed about 100 pounds of sheer sex appeal. The South Korean president instituted martial law, despite the fact that the South Korean parliament voted against it. So, if you are keeping score, that is Democratic Korea's 0, totalitarian Korea's 2. The New York Times used the term non-transgender woman in a recent article, and they are facing some backlash. The article was about transgender athletes, and in it they compared a transgender woman to a non-transgender woman. Think about the term non-transgender woman. In the day and age that we're living in, that term kind of slips by. People don't even really notice it, which is kind of off-putting. The thing that gets me is this journalist had to think this term, non-transgender woman, then write it down, then it had to go to the editor for an editing process, multiple rounds, I'm sure, and all of these people went to Ivy League schools, and at no point in time did any of them go, wait a second, non-transgender woman, that's just a woman. Joe Biden pardoned his son, Hunter Biden, in what has to be the least shocking pardon of all time. I know he said he wasn't going to do it, but if you believed him, That's on you. Joe Biden's position is that it was a political trial and that they went after his son, Hunter, to get to him. So you're saying that Hunter was only charged because of you, which is kind of a nice change from him never being charged because of you. Hunter Biden was convicted of falsifying a form to get a gun and failing to pay $1.4 million in taxes. So, if this is a political prosecution, does that mean that these things just aren't crimes? If that's the case, then this April, everybody should just file their fraudulent tax documents and sign it in bullet holes fired from their illegally obtained firearm. You see, I always thought that the Democrats were the we need gun control and we need to tax the rich party. I mean, come on, left wing. Hunter Biden is everything you claim to hate. He got an illegal gun. He's rich and didn't pay his taxes, and he used his position as the son of someone powerful to make himself more rich. He's like if all the stuff you said about Elon Musk was actually true. Canada Post is still on strike, affecting 20s of people. Unfortunately, the people who are the most affected are all in their 80s, and when they're pissed off at something, the only thing they know how to do is write a letter. Arnold Schwarzenegger was swatted on Thanksgiving. Swatting is when you call in a major threat to a person's residence that requires a police response, usually that of a SWAT team. It's not only a jarring experience for the person who was swatted, it also wastes valuable police resources and has resulted in people's deaths. It also shows the lack of respect you little pricks have. Because anybody born pre-1990 would know the one person you would never swat is Arnold Schwarzenegger. You son of a bitch. It started with one Twitch streamer doing it to another Twitch streamer, hoping that he could catch his live Twitch stream and see the police break in real time. Maybe they'll interpret his panicking as aggression and I'll get to watch him be executed. You know, good, wholesome fun. What exactly were you punishing Arnold Schwarzenegger for? Too many iconic movies? Too many inspirational speeches? Too much understanding of today's political climate with sober, balanced discourse? Was it the videos of him feeding his donkey? You monsters? Arnie was luckily at the gym when the incident occurred. Because, of course he was. Imagine he wasn't, though. Imagine being the SWAT officer who kicked down a door and on the other side is Arnold Schwarzenegger. There is no amount of training that could prepare you for that moment. You are going to pause because Arnie eats SWAT teams for breakfast. And right now, he's very hungry. That's from Commando. Learn your history. Here's a post that I came across. I openly hate J.K. Rowling, and I always will. Brave. I think the people who hate J.K. Rowling this much need to move on. We get it. You don't like what she says. Great. You've made that very clear. It's not going to take away from her money. It's not going to take away from the things that she's accomplished. You lost. Sorry. I know. She wrote a wizard book that you really liked, and now you're not allowed to like it anymore, and that makes you sad. But every time this property is adapted into a new format, you guys piss and puke yourself into a rage, and then it makes $1 billion. Every time. I don't understand. Does it feel good to post about it? Do you actually get a feeling of joy or elation when you post how much you hate J.K. Rowling? I can't wrap my head around it. Because it cannot feel good losing this much. And it's a twofold loss because you guys post about it constantly trying to get people to boycott it, and then it goes through anyway. So you have to realize you're ultimately powerless about the thing you're trying to get done, and most people don't give a shit. That's it for my video today. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a like and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. I will catch you next week on another edition of Brief by Beat.